Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Indie Comic Ninja. I'm your host, Dexter Jacobs, and today we bring up 2 new developments with this podcast and an interview with artist and comic book creator Jonathan Sims. Hello and welcome. That is right. This is Indie Comic Ninja Podcast, formerly known as Indie Comic Audio. I've decided to streamline the branding around here, so instead of Indie Comic Ninja Newsletter and the Indie Comic Audio Podcast and other perspective channels under other names, everything is now Indie Comic Ninja, because that's flashy and easier. So if you head over to indiecomic.ninja, you'll find everything you need for this podcast and for my newsletter. And if you head over specifically to indiecomic.ninja/episode 7, you will find all the show notes you could possibly need for this particular episode. And as I said in the intro, there are 2 new developments. I have a couple of things to mention. So first is a new podcast that I am producing and co-hosting with my friend Maddie Martin called Recorded Now, which will be launching within the next month. It's basically just a show where it's Maddie and I kind of just chatting about what we've been noticing on the internet, what movies we've been watching, books we've been reading, comics, obviously, I guess is what I meant by that. We'll be talking about things that aren't just indie, so a lot more mainstream conversation going on over there. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can look forward to that. If you sign up for the newsletter, you'll be getting the warning when that's coming out. We do have an episode already recorded for that, and this weekend we'll be doing another one, so we should have a couple episodes out right away for you to enjoy. I will also be launching an Indiegogo campaign later this month to cover the cost of this podcast and to begin creating some merchandise to keep from having to resort to advertising in order to make Indie Comic Ninja self-sustaining. So be sure to sign up for the newsletter to get information about that. So you can head over to indiecomic.ninja or just follow me on Twitter or Facebook, both of those, Indie Comic Ninja, and you can, sit and stare at your computer screen and wait to be alerted for when that campaign launches. Which brings us to this month's podcast, which was recorded in person in the home of Jonathan Sims, creator of Floating Bunnyhead, the comic. You can find all of his links and info at skelonaut.com. That's SKELONAUT.com, including a link to his Kickstarter, Snack Attack, his art book where all the art is all food. If you hit up his Instagram, you can catch some shots of the work, and just be sure to also head over to his Kickstarter to back the project and get everything from lapel pins, shirts, skate decks, to even just being able to eat some pizza with the artist himself. If you back at any level that has the book, you'll also get a totally rad sticker sheet. So, without further delay, here's Jonathan Sims. I remember the first time I ever saw you or noticed you, and I didn't even talk to you. It was at Icon in Des Moines. I can't remember how long ago it was. It was like when they were still in All Play, and it was in that ballroom, and I was selling my wallets across the aisle from you.
Yeah, and was I on the end?
You're like on a corner, on the end, and I was like just staring at you guys the whole time, and it was like the first con I'd ever been to with indie stuff. I'm messing up your shirt here, or no?
That's fun. Yeah,
that's a cool shirt. Are you selling these?
Yep, that's one of the backer rewards for the Kickstarter.
That reminds me of another thing I wanted to bring up, but anyway, so I was sitting across from you, selling my wallets, and I barely broke even selling those wallets at that show because nobody wanted comic book wallets at a Comic-Con.
Yeah, so that was our first convention ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, you guys had a good setup, I remember. Because not knowing anything about, indie comics and stuff like that, I was just I was looking at you guys and thinking you guys looked really well set up.
Oh, thanks.
And just thinking, why don't I know about this? This sounds so familiar, maybe. and which maybe is why I didn't approach you, because I thought you were maybe more established than you were.
Oh, nope. That was my first convention, and
nice.
I only did the Des Moines show for 3 or 4 years in a row.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I just started doing the Cedar Rapids one.
Mm-hmm. Which I've heard is really good.
It is. It was a lot of fun last year. Cool. But I've still only done the 2 shows.
Huh. Okay. Yeah. You should shoot for, it's not called Spring Con anymore, MSP Comic Con.
Yeah.
I had a podcast about it, I guess, if you're listening to my podcast. But
yeah, I applied this year. Didn't get in.
Yeah, it is pretty packed.
They have limited space, and the people who have done it before get first privilege. So
yeah, and I think I got in because I was sharing a booth with somebody who had been doing it before, or with Tom, who's been there for the last 5 years. So I think that's part of that.
Yeah, I really want to do that one because I've got friends up in Minneapolis I can stay with and cut the cost down.
Yeah, well, if they're already having booths, you might be able to split a booth with them next year, I guess.
Well, they're just people that live in.
Oh.
they're not comic book people.
Well, never mind then.
Yeah.
Maybe since I've had a booth, I'll try to split a booth with you next time. We'll see how that works out.
That'd be cool.
Because it's always nice for me to split a booth with somebody because I'm a solo guy, so then you could watch my stuff while I walk around.
Oh, yeah.
Is how that would work out. But yeah, so you've only done the 2 cons. That's interesting. How have those, I guess, worked out for you? I mean, I guess well, since you keep going back.
Yeah, pretty good.
Okay.
The Des Moines one, it's a little harder to make my money back since they've gone to 2 days.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll go stay in a hotel and gas and food and all that.
Yeah, I didn't even consider that.
But yeah, hopefully once I've got a big fancy hardcover book to sell, I can start going to more shows.
And that's with this art book or with...
Yep. Yep, with the art book. And then once that's out, I will get back to working on Floating Bunny Head and have more than 2 issues of that.
Yeah, so then your comic being Floating Bunny Head, is that the full title? It's just Floating Bunny Head?
Yep.
Okay. But he has like a group of people. I'm looking at the little tiny cover I guess you have. Cause there's the Floating Bunny Head, there's like a bear without arms.
Yeah, there's Armless Bear.
Okay.
The names aren't very creative. No, but he's a big pink bear who ate his own arms.
Okay.
And then there's Raptoro. He's a pinata velociraptor.
Okay.
And Slicey, who's a slice of pizza.
Okay. Is he on that cover? Oh, he's behind the...
He's behind the robot's leg there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I like that a slice of pizza as a character. Is it flying around like the Floating Bunny Head again?
I think he kind of balances on the tip of the pizza, but I think sometimes I draw him just kind of hovering there. He doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Maybe he's in mid-hop, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so that's cool. I guess, I mean, now that we're on Floating Bunny Head, like, what's the so you have 2 issues out.
Mm-hmm.
What's the premise, I guess? Like, what are they good guys? Are they bad guys?
Yeah, they're good guys. They don't go out and fight crime, though.
Okay.
They just get into trouble.
Okay.
And usually solve it by fighting.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first issue is a parody of Westworld, a Michael Crichton movie from the 70s, which it's the same as Jurassic Park, but it's got robot cowboys instead of dinosaurs.
Interesting. I never heard of that. I need to watch it.
Yeah, Michael Crichton wrote and directed it.
Interesting.
And it's one of the first movies with a CG scene in it, or maybe the first one.
Yeah?
But it's just got a pixelated view from the bad guy robot's point of view.
And so that's the CG part?
Yep.
Is the robots... I guess that for the 70s, like, that's high-tech and what you'd expect a robot to see as.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So the comic is based loosely on that? Or at least this first one?
Yeah, the first issue is a parody of that.
Okay.
So the characters, they go to Westland.
Okay.
But same premise, completely different ending, and...
I would hope so.
But they just they win a trip there, and I make references to Westworld. I make references to Jurassic Park. Mm-hmm. There's kind of that Mr. DNA video.
Yeah, Dino DNA.
Yeah, yep.
That's a quote that I use more often than I should. That makes sense.
Yeah. So I've got a page that's kind of a presentation where they get introduced to the park, and it also introduces it to the reader. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So then what's the second issue about?
So it's actually not issue 2.
Oh, okay.
It's I think it's 6 black and white mini adventures.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember seeing that. So it's just a collection of mini adventures, like you just said.
I didn't want to be a guy with just one comic book out.
Right. Okay.
So I gave myself a very strict deadline for producing those pages and making that book. So it came out pretty quickly after Floating Bunny had won.
Well, that's cool. And so then, as we just said, it's been a couple years since you've done those then. Just before we started recording, you said you were planning on getting back to that?
Yeah, so Floating Bunny Head number 2 has been half finished, almost exactly at the halfway point on my hard drive for over a few years now.
Okay.
So I had a full-time job, doing Photoshop and retouch and stuff, and I was just doing Floating Bunny Head in the mornings before work. And get up really early, work on that, go to work all day, and that got put on the back burner so I could start doing freelance design and work on. I designed for Johnny 5 Apparel. We're a t-shirt company here in Iowa City, and so I started doing that in my free time until we could grow it enough to make that my main job. And then once I started doing that full time and left that other job, I didn't go back to Floating Bunny Head right away.
Right.
Because I had just started drawing a lot of finished artworks of pizza in my spare time. I like cartoon food.
Okay.
I always liked how pizza would look in like the old Ninja Turtle cartoons, and like food looks really good in anime.
I think that's maybe why I like your art so much, is it reminds me of the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
I don't know if I made that connection. I'm trying to...
It's a huge inspiration.
See a picture of pizza in your studio and you have none hanging up.
Yeah, not hanging up. I've got stacks of drawings. I've got a lot of stuff on my screen. But yeah.
I'll link to one in the show notes. I'm sure I'll find something.
Okay.
But that's hilarious. And like especially with all the neon colors. Sorry, we're getting off track now.
That's fine.
So anyway, yeah. So you did the Johnny 5 apparel. And then you started just drawing pizza. And I feel like last time I talked to you at Midwest Comic-Con, you were telling me that there was like a pizza place that hired you to do a lot of the pizza drawings. No?
Kind of, yeah. So
they just ended up using it?
My artwork was up at Need Pizza.
Oh, it was just up there. Okay.
Yeah, for a year. I just took it down earlier this week.
Okay.
So it was up before they opened.
Okay.
Until just past their 1-year anniversary.
Okay. Did they just put up somebody else's art, or?
I think they're going to.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's
they bought a few of my pieces to keep.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's cool.
Yeah, one of my drawings is a big, gross, Porky Pig-ish kind of pig.
Yeah, it says like eat pizza in the teeth.
So the original said free pizza on his teeth
Okay.
and cheese, and then he's got a crown made of pizza slices.
Nice.
I made a version of that for Need, where because the cheese was just its own Photoshop layers.
Right.
I drew all the teeth and everything below them, and so I just removed that and redid it for them, and so they're going to be keeping that one. And then I've got my pizza in the shape of Iowa, the state of Iowa.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Cool.
I don't know.
Palatable
Palatable and
the whole pizza pie.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was thinking a slice of pizza,
Oh.
which would look kind of weird because you can't have a slice of pizza look like a state of Iowa. Maybe Florida.
Maybe. Or maybe if I just did every state as its own slice.
I can edit this out so nobody steals it.
Nah, it's fine. Someone's probably already done it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to have like the whole, because then you could sell to pretty much everyone in the United States at least.
Yeah.
And Hawaii. Yeah. Anyway, that would be cool.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking a lot of your paintings, I guess, or at least what I've seen for this show, you should just like, I don't know how you'd. I used to make notebooks. I don't know why I'm looking around for one. This isn't my studio. But I used to make notebooks using Yeah. Oh, they're hiring a digital artist right now. Is that Lisa Frank?
Lisa Frank, yeah.
Yeah, I saw on Facebook that they're hiring a digital artist right now. So if you are looking for more of a desk job, I think you have to move to Toledo or wherever it is they're from.
Oh.
Tucson.
Okay.
So maybe you don't want that.
No, I like it. I like it here a lot.
But I was just thinking, like, a lot of this stuff would go well, like, on notebooks just to sell at your booth, maybe. Or even, like, if you bought the, like, the moleskins with, like, the paper cover instead of the moleskin cover.
Yeah.
And just either drawing on those or I used the tacky spray and would put it on.
Cool. It's really funny that you say that because a lot of this cartoon food art is me just kind of getting over art school and realizing that, like, deep down, a lot of the stuff that really inspires me are, like, the no rules notebooks and folders from my childhood with, like, the gorilla with the football and just those really, like, glossy fisheye sort of look.
I forgot about that. I had those. Yeah. Or, like, I had the ones where, like, the zombie was skateboarding. And yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about now. That's hilarious. So
those and Lisa Frank and
maybe that's where my head went because with all these like neon colors, like it just made me think of Lisa Frank.
Yeah, well, I have a few pieces that are specifically kind of tributes to Lisa Frank where I've got like pizza floating in space and French fries and stuff floating around him
instead of a Pegasus floating in this starry space.
They've done ice cream and different things in the past, and like burgers and shakes. And
yeah. I wonder how far their copyright goes on that kind of stuff. Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah, I guess, man, it's funny how I didn't really realize how nostalgic your art was for me.
Yeah, I've got a lot of 90s and late 80s imagery.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not so subtle, because I think that especially the neon and, like, thunderbolts and stuff like that, but I think it's maybe just the food being implemented into it just makes it feel a lot more subtle, and so I don't think I was realizing how nostalgic it was for me.
Yeah,
and then now you have all this art that's like the hologrammy stuff.
Oh yeah, the lenticular prints.
Yeah, there's that one up there.
Yeah, that's the
funny.
That's kind of the prototype. It's I designed all the frames of the animation and then sent it off to the company that builds it. And I made a first run and then revised the design of it and had the real ones made to sell.
Yeah. It's hard for me to stay on topic in your studio.
Oh, it's
I just keep seeing stuff because that's there, but then that moves. So anyway, what were we talking about? Your stuff is hanging up in the pizza place. So now, you work for Johnny Five.
Yep.
Apparel, and you're working at an art store, I guess, too.
Yeah.
So Johnny Five's not necessarily a full-time gig yet.
Yeah,
Or it's close.
So right now, getting ready for the show, I'm at Johnny Five 3 days a week.
Okay.
I'm at Blick 1 day a week.
Okay,
and
that's not
I'm working on my art the rest of the time, trying to get the show ready.
So what all does Johnny Five do? Do you just make your own apparel and try to sell them, or do you do custom stuff for people?
Yeah, it's almost all custom.
Okay.
So we do a lot of breweries and restaurants and events in the area. You know, we did the North Liberty Blues Fest and or Blues and Barbecue. We do stuff for Iowa Craft Beer Tent.
Okay.
And then lately we've been getting more into design. I've designed a few beer cans and a bunch of labels and stuff like that.
That's cool. Like when you say I'm not super familiar with what the Iowa Craft Beer Tent is. Do you mean at the fair?
Yeah, they started out of the fair, but they've got a truck full of beer taps, or multiple trucks full of beer taps, and they do.
So they just travel.
Yep.
Okay.
And they do RAGBRAI and a bunch of stuff.
Okay. Because I think I just was familiar with it from the fair.
Yeah, so. I think that's where they got their start.
Okay, cool. So do you have stuff basically at the fair right now because of them?
Maybe.
Oh.
What they have most of the year is just their design. We print it.
Okay, cool.
But I designed their RAGBRAI shirt.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. I feel like you should have stuff at the fair, but it was probably just bad timing with getting this book ready.
Yeah.
Or like submitted for their competitions and stuff.
Yeah, I've had friends do that. I've never tried it, though.
Okay, so anyway, now you have an art book coming out, I guess. You've alluded to it a million times. And it's an art show, and this is what the Kickstarter is for. So, what exactly is this art book?
Okay, so it's called Snack Attack, and it's all my cartoon food art, pretty much from the past 2.5 years, about. So I'm collecting all of that art into a show called Snack Attack. And then I want to make that a book called Snack Attack. There's also a drawing in the show called Snack Attack, which is a big shark made of slices of pizza. And there's a...
That's the title piece, I guess?
Yep, kind of the title track.
Yeah.
Drawing, yeah. So I removed that shark from his background. He's in the sea with a diver in the original drawing.
Okay.
But he's on a big pink and silver field of stripes on the front of the book.
Okay, yeah. Do you have a copy, like a prototype book, or?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm still not sure whether or not it's going to be a really big book.
Okay.
Or like an 8x10 book.
Like 11 by 17 big, or what do you mean by
10
big? 10
by 12.5.
Okay.
Which we found out is the dimensions of like a Where's Waldo book.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That helps when
you know, like 100 pages thick.
Yeah.
And obnoxiously pink and silver.
Yeah, and you're gonna have the silver edges to the pages.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what that makes it swanky. I think that's what you said.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I thought that was good.
Yeah, just because I've been, put so much time into the art that's going in the book, and I just want this book to be as fancy as possible. It's kind of the crowning of achievement of all the cartoon food. And hopefully I can produce that and then get on to drawing other stuff for a while.
Yeah.
Last year for Inktober, I made sure to draw food in every one of those drawings so it could be included in the book. I felt like working on this project, everything I need to do needs to service the project, because the more stuff in the book, the better it is.
Right. And so you've been working on, so you've been doing this for a couple of years, the art you said, but then like just really gung-ho for like the last year.
Yeah.
Okay. That's really cool. And so I guess getting onto the Kickstarter, because otherwise we can probably just go page by page and you can just describe everything, so which I don't think is a good idea. But so you'll have a Kickstarter. When is that going live? Is it going to be before this probably airs?
Yeah.
Okay.
September 2nd.
Okay.
The art opening is September 3rd in Cedar Rapids at Artisan Sanctuary. Okay. And the Kickstarter will run the entire time that shows up.
Okay, so then September 2nd, you said?
Yep.
And what are some of the, what's it called? I was going to say prizes, but...
The backer rewards or backer incentives. Yeah. So starting small, we've got like an enamel pin. Those are just super popular lately, and I've always wanted one. And that's of my skull slice. It's kind of my iconic image, the skull and crossbones pizza slice.
That sticker down there?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's actually kind of a big enamel pin. It's 1.5 inches tall.
Oh wow,
so
that
it'll
is a
have
big pin, yeah.
2 pins on the back.
Okay.
Yeah. So that'd be the smallest one. There are going to be a couple different T-shirts, one through Johnny 5, and then this all over print one here.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
That one, not to get too off topic, it reminds me a lot of the... You had a Boba Fett drawing that I saw at Midwest Comic Con.
Yeah.
Or painting, I guess. I really wished you had... I think you just had like the original maybe with you, or maybe...
It's a digital drawing. So
oh, okay. I guess it's not the original then. But you had a big one that was like framed, and I think... I don't know.
Like 11 by 17 prints of that.
Maybe not as big as I remember then. But yeah, no, I really wanted to get it, I think, at the time, but I didn't have the money. And it made me sad. But it was Boba Fett, for people who don't have my memory, I guess. It was Boba Fett's skateboarding in the Sarlacc pit.
Yep.
Yeah, that was just genius. And I think I saw that you had it, like you had, at least for a little while, you had a shop That was like, it looked like it was a print-on-demand shop, maybe, where you could buy a shirt from.
Yeah, yep, it is on Society 6 on my store on there. And then the shirt version, I drew the rest of the Sarlacc pit that would stick out of the frame of the original drawing, and then dropped out the rest of the background. So it's just him and the... And
it's on like a tan shirt, though, isn't it?
I think they offer it in a bunch of different colors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just felt like it made sense on tan, so it looked like the sand, but yeah. But anyway, yeah, so this shirt, it's one of the rewards, and it's a T-Rex skateboarding in a bowl of cereal with sunglasses on.
Yeah, he's got sunglasses and knee pads.
Well, yeah, he's safe.
Yep.
And he has the pizza skull and crossbones.
Yeah, all of my drawings that have someone on a skateboard, I've put another one of my drawings as the skateboard art.
Well, why not?
Which brings me back to the backer awards.
Oh, yeah, that...
One of the big cool ones is a skateboard deck with that pork pie drawing on it. I'm really excited to see that in person someday.
Yeah, that made me excited. It made me wish I skateboarded.
Yeah.
I guess it would be a good art piece, too, I guess. You just hang it up.
Yeah, a lot of my friends have cool skateboards they've drawn that are just hanging on the walls at places. Yeah.
Huh. I'm surprised that I guess you don't have more skateboards, because I feel like a lot of your art would look really good on skate decks.
Yeah.
So like I just feel like you should just quit everything you're doing and just do skateboards.
And just move to California and open a little skate shop.
Yeah, because I guess that's what you would have to do. That's too bad. Just get a friend in California to sell them for you, I guess.
Okay, yeah. I'll get right on it.
Exactly. I have such good ideas. It's just implementing them. Okay, so then, you have this shirt, skate deck, anything else, I guess?
Yeah, let me think for a second. There's a lot of them. So I've got 4 original paintings I'm making. Okay. They're on these little handmade hexagons about 10 inches wide.
The dogs over the food?
Yep. Puppies and kittens.
Yeah.
Floating in front of food.
That one's a kitten in front of a taco?
Yes.
That's cute.
They've got all real boring titles like Taco Cat and Hot Dog Dog.
Hot Dog Dog? Or Pizza Dog?
Pizza Cat.
Oh, it's a cat?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And Hamburger Dog. Mm-hmm. Right there. Barely started.
And those are the backer rewards?
Yeah, they'll be in the show, in the art show, but they won't be for sale through that. They're only, they're kind of one of the higher end reward levels.
Yeah, I was gonna say I hope so because they're nice.
Thanks. Yeah, and
makes me wish I had a lot of money so I could get the hot dog.
And then they always say to have some really over the top, crazy backer reward levels. So the highest 2, one of them is I draw the backer eating their favorite food. Yeah. As a full finished digital piece. Okay. 18 to 30 hours like a lot of my other drawings. Oh, wow. And then that's going to go in the book. Okay. Be included with all the other art. And then they will get like a 16 by 20 print of that drawing. Edition 1 of 1. Nobody else will ever have it. Wow. Do you know what level that is? Like dollar amount? Yeah. I think it's $1,200. Okay. Well, do you know what you're shooting for yet? No, okay. I don't. I have a lot of math to do this week. I'll have it figured out by the time the podcast airs. But... yeah, I'll have it in the show notes, I guess. Okay. Well, I mean, I'll have a link to the Kickstarter. I feel like my show notes is just going to be basically your Instagram feed. That's fine, yeah. I'll just have to figure out how to just get your Instagram into my blog. Yeah, it's interesting just because you have so much. Like, I mean, you said how many pages? It'll be a 100-page book. Okay. So pieces of art in the show is around 54. Okay. Or 7, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. It's over 50. Got the 5 paintings and like over 48 digital pieces. Oh, wow. Okay. I've kind of lost count, but that's good, I guess. There are a lot of them. There are the 3 lenticular pieces. Okay. There's a level for the reward level that is a new lenticular piece. Mm-hmm. that I'm only going to draw if somebody actually buys it. But it's a variant of the one of my own head eating little burgers and pizzas.
Right.
That one will be like a cool color variant where I'm eating desserts.
Okay.
Yeah. So pixel art, my head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's kind of a high one because those lenticular pieces are kind of expensive to produce.
I would imagine, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. You have a nice GIF of that one online, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that reward level on the Kickstarter page itself is animated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we can see how it would work, yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome. Okay.
And then the highest reward level is the pizza party level, because you've got to have something super ridiculous up there. So.
Yeah. If you come to Iowa City, you get to go to your 2 favorite pizza places.
Yep. So the backer comes to Iowa City. I take them out to pizza twice in one day.
Okay.
And then they get a bunch of the other items, from the lower reward levels.
That's really cool.
So the book and a custom drawing and a bunch of other cool things.
Yeah. I think your cat wants to come in.
Well, I think he would cause trouble.
Yeah,
I don't think we should let him in.
Okay. That's really cool. I'm excited about all this.
Thanks.
But that's all I can think of to say. Okay, so then you're gonna be taking this to the Comic-Cons. Are you still just planning on doing Des Moines and Cedar Rapids then?
I think once I get the books in hand, and that'll be at least 3 months after the Kickstarter wraps up.
Okay, so you won't have it nearly in time for at least Midwest Comic-Con. It sounds like, because that's in early November, isn't it?
Oh yeah, Midwest, yeah.
Which is Des Moines.
Yeah, Cedar Rapids is in February.
Okay, so you'll have it by then.
There's a chance I'd have them by then.
Oh yeah.
Because it's early February.
Mm-hmm. But then, do you have plans of taking it to C2E2 or?
I'd like to. I've always wanted to do CincyCon.
Is that in Cincinnati?
Yeah, I've family out in Kentucky.
Okay.
I've heard that it'd be a good fit for my work. A lot of people going there looking for a new weird indie comic to start reading.
Yeah. Do you know if you'll take it to? I don't know if you could take it to. Some of those craft shows in the area that are kind of more artsier than the craft shows tend to be. Because there used to be one here in town. I think they stopped. That was What a Load of Craft.
What a Load of Craft, yeah.
And then in Des Moines there's Market Day, but I feel like they would let you still.
We have a new zine show in Iowa City here.
Oh really?
Every year. Well,
nice.
Hopefully every year. It was the first annual.
Okay.
This past year. It's called Ice Cream.
Nice.
And all those letters stand for something. It's a really long title.
It does sound like a long title.
Yeah.
Is that who's putting that on?
Public Space One.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense that they would do that.
Oh, you brought up What a Load of Craft.
Yeah.
And speaking of the origins of my cartoon food art, one year back when it was at the Johnson County Fairgrounds, so when the show was at its biggest, my wife shared a booth with a friend. She was selling plushies and pins and different things, and I entered the Play-Doh contest where you had to make a Christmas meal out of Play-Doh.
Right.
Swept it.
Nice.
Won so hard. I made a tiny little cherry pie.
Nice.
With the filling. And I made a ham, with a bone sticking out of it.
Nice.
Cartoony. And
were you the only adult that did it?
No, it was all adults.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. No, that'd be awful.
That would be awful.
Me and a bunch of 8-year-olds and fighting over the different colors of Play-Doh. And
it's like the guy at a baseball park that catches the fly ball that bounces off a little kid's head.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you still have it, or did they keep it?
Yeah, I didn't take that home.
Oh, okay.
I think we took a photo, but phones back then were really bad, so it's probably 8 pixels wide.
Yeah, you should have it in the book, just tiny. Have this.
Yeah, I should hunt it down.
Like as maybe like, when you first open, maybe not when you first open it, but like on one of those pages that is kind of useless anyway.
Well,
just have it right there in the middle and like by Jonathan Sims.
I'm gonna have a bunch of behind the scenes stuff in the book,
nice.
And ton of sketches. I need to go through all my sketchbooks and start scanning it. There's a lot of drawings of pizza. A lot of my big finished pieces started as like sketches.
Oh yeah. That's cool. I didn't even consider that you would have like that kind of stuff. I don't know why. Because like I know for comics, like that's a lot. Usually when people make big books like this, they'll throw that in on the back.
I
didn't even consider that you could do that for this stuff. So because you said it'll be 100 pages with like 50 some pieces of art.
Yeah, a lot of those pieces are gonna be 2-page spreads because they're horizontal.
Okay.
But
that makes a lot of sense.
But yeah, well, I'm gonna stuff all my Inktober drawings in there and a bunch of sketches and then like photos from the art opening and at least one photo from Need Pizza where Hillary Clinton went and visited, and there are a bunch of photos of her standing in front of my art.
That's
so
awesome.
it's a big skull and crossbones made out of a pizza slice just right over her shoulder.
Man, if she becomes president, that would be really cool.
Yeah,
cool for you.
My art met her. I didn't. But yeah.
Yeah, that's like the time I met Bill Clinton, I guess. I was working at Capona downtown.
Oh.
And these guys just walked in with trench coats. And it was early morning. And there's just a ton of them. And I was just like, oh, great. They're going to buy all the pastries. I have to rebake everything. I was so mad. And then they just like split. And Bill Clinton just comes like through them. And then I met Bill Clinton. The rest of the story is actually really boring. I shook his hand. He got a grande decaf. And a mango gelato, I think.
Oh.
At like 6 a.m.
Interesting.
But yeah. So between us, we've met the Clintons. Well, no, between me and your art, we've met the Clintons.
Yeah.
That's a really cool thing to have in the book, I guess.
Yeah.
Especially
I hope so.
the pizza skull and crossbones. That's hilarious. Yeah, so that's interesting. So you'll have a lot of obviously all your art. And then some of the sketches.
Yep.
Anything else in the book, I guess?
I'll have my art statement. I think I'm going to stage an interview with me and have that printed in there.
That's always awesome.
Yeah, I just thought that would be less pretentious than having like some weird bio, like or having me write about myself for the book.
That's the worst.
And then I'm having a friend of mine write a preface or foreword or intro.
The preface, forward, intro?
Yeah.
You should just call it that.
I think I'll let her call it whatever she
whatever.
wants.
Yeah, that happened. I'm actually writing a foreword for somebody's book, and maybe I'll title it the preface, forward, bio, or preface, whatever.
Introduction. And we're also going to put my wife and I will compile an index.
Okay. Oh, nice.
So it'll be alphabetical. You can look up any food or glow-in-the-dark skeleton or Dracula or dinosaur and find out what page it's on.
That's helpful. I hate it when you can't, like when books don't have that.
Yeah.
Or at least when it's not indexed well. So do a good job, please.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to do a great job. And if that backer, buys the portrait of them for the book, their name will be in the index.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I was rich. That's the problem with Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I always just wish I was rich. That's why I do a podcast. At least then I get to meet you guys. Yeah, cool. I guess you just checking your email?
I was going to pull up the page to see if there's anything I should...
Oh, the Kickstarter? Yeah.
I can find that link I sent you.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not the only person who tries to find links this way. Forget bookmarking.
Yeah, well, it's a temporary link. It's
Go away. Oh, yeah, like the skeleton skateboarding on the piece of pizza. That would make a good notebook. That's kind of that same style as those old folders that you're talking about.
Yeah, well, the second drawing I did of him, where he's actually on a sidewalk on a skateboard.
Okay.
it's titled No Rules.
Okay.
And I tried to make it like those books, give it a bit of a fisheye look.
Right.
But I didn't polish it nearly as much as they do.
It's really nice that you do it all digitally, I guess, because then you can just kind of copy and paste the layers and like make multiple pieces basically out of one central design, which is really cool.
A few of my artist friends who paint, have definitely urged me to take advantage of the medium. So like the skull slice piece, there are now 4 different variants of it.
Right.
Regular, neon, black and white.
Nice.
And then the 4th one is kind of an 80s VHS laser grid crazy look to it.
That's awesome. That actually, speaking of the neon and just... Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, palm trees. And...
So, yeah, like you tend to use like a lot of this neon, and is that just because of like that whole 90s
Yeah, definitely.
thing? Like you're just still just kind of going for those old notebook styles?
Yeah, I might be overconfident with color just because I learned how to use color in school and never felt like I was good at it, all through high school and drawing art as a kid, and then just started caring about it a lot. So I'll throw all kinds of crazy stuff in there and kind of try to push it and make things just big and obnoxious. And
yeah, well, I think that's what is appealing to me with your art in particular, and especially with going back to like the ability then to kind of peel back like the layers and do different things, and then being a web developer, I'm thinking like it'd be really easy on a website to have like the skull and crossbone as like a floating figure, and then just having like a carousel behind it the backgrounds, or even like it might even be more interesting with the skateboarding guy, the skateboarding zombie, to have him there and then have the background have like the skateboard pop in behind him, and then have that move out and be a pizza. You can even do like some weird effects with like scrolling, so that as you scroll,
like parallax.
The parallax,
that'd be cool.
Which is a little overused now, but I feel like that's like a special case where it actually would make sense and look cool.
Yeah,
that's just really interesting, especially with like digital media like that, because I think that's something that maybe you should consider too when you get back into doing the floating bunny head, because if you can really learn how what is it called? The app, the
Comixology?
Yeah, Comixology. They have the ability to manipulate the frames. I sat in on a panel that Comixology did where they're explaining kind of like all the different uses of their program. And there's a Deadpool comic, I believe, where like they, instead of like drawing like the character falling, you can actually animate the character falling.
Oh, cool.
In Comixology. Like I don't think a lot of people actually use it a whole lot, because it might be kind of complicated. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it could be interesting, like with the comic, to be able to like move stuff around since you're already kind of doing it in the layers anyway.
Yeah, that could be.
Or I don't know if you do your comic in the layers like that, but it would be interesting if you did.
Yeah, and my process has gotten a lot more streamlined and organized since I did Floating Bunny Head 1. So I think I'm on top of it enough now to pull stuff off like that. Maybe that is kind of the helpful thing of going through this art book process, is it probably helped you refine a lot of that for the comic. Yeah. And there's just a lot of, I don't know, for the comic, I would always put myself under time constraints, so I'm not spending 20 hours on a page, like some of these drawings, and I just get to just take my time and like my drawing of a slice of pie covered in bees just sat there unfinished for like almost a year. Oh wow. Because I didn't want to draw 42 individual bees. It was just boring. Yeah, that would be. So I had to get in the mood and just draw bees for hours and just get it done. But I guess that's when you start marathoning TV shows on Netflix. Yeah, I'll listen to a podcast or I'll put on Batman cartoons.
Nice.
While drawing.
Yeah. You're just a throwback to the 90s. I really like that, having the Kickstarter page pulled up, the cheeseburgers that are...
Yeah, the Burger Boys.
The Burger Boys, yeah.
Yeah, they've got that Saved by the Bell looking background with a bunch of dinosaurs on it.
Yeah. Does he have an Oscar Mayer wiener patch?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep. And an A&W patch.
Okay. Yeah. And then the donuts right below that. I always like a good donut.
Yeah, they're my least creepy kind of art.
Yeah. It works. And then you have the burger skull and crossbone.
Yeah.
That one's kind of creepy. The pizza one's not so bad. I think because the eyes are pepperonis, but what are the eyes on that?
They're just kind of
voids.
recessed
Yeah.
holes. Yeah.
Like a real skull would be, I guess.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I think that one just started as notes, and I was like, burger skull, where the burger's just kind of shaped into a skull.
Yeah.
But when I sat down and drew it, I gave it teeth, which is...
I think that's what makes it the most creepy.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, the mustard and ketchup drool.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's all inspired by that 90s gross out art.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
And had those pogs when I was a kid that was like a weird slug always getting smashed. And some of them were, like a slammer would be like a lenticular animated drawing where, I don't know, a boot comes down on him or something.
A weird slug getting smashed on the pogs? I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was just the particular pogs that you had.
I had those and Simpsons ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the Universal Studios Monsters pogs.
All right.
Which is really random. So it just had, like, Dracula and Frankenstein. But, like, the movie ones. So my pogs weren't as cool. I lived in a small town, Iowa, so that's, like, all we could get for pogs. It was always, like, it was a highlight to go to the state fair. Because, like, there were people selling pogs there because they were popular. And I would just dig through the pog bins looking for, like, the cool pogs.
Oh.
And, like, getting a good slammer, even though, like, I was the only person I knew that played pogs.
I had a cousin that played pogs. We played once.
It's such a random, silly little game.
Yeah.
That it just didn't even make sense. So anyway, I feel like we should just talk about the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Draculas, one of the backer rewards is King of the Draculas.
Okay, what's that?
I have 3 pieces in the book, in the show, that have a vampire in them.
Okay.
So...
Oh, yeah.
That backer just gets... I think it's the book with a drawing of Dracula on the inside cover.
Okay.
With a marker, and then the 3 prints.
Okay.
So, they're nice big giclée prints.
Okay. Do you draw their head in, or no?
Not in that one.
Oh, for some reason I thought I saw that. Now you have to. No, I'm just kidding. I can edit that out.
Yeah, I just used that in the page. I used the Dracula picture as the example for the backer eating their favorite food.
Oh, the backer eating their favorite food.
Just because Dracula's taking a bite of a hamburger in that drawing, so.
Okay, that's what that is then. So going back to you are doing one where you're drawing people. That's good.
Yep.
I'm not making stuff up. Sometimes I do. That's really cool. So I guess something that just popped in my head. So you do a lot of painting and a lot of digital art, I guess, because like I was talking about how cool it is the way you do the digital art and having the layers, and that's really interesting to me. But you also, like, half of this is paintings.
Well,
ish.
Only 5 of them are paintings.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, because it takes so long.
Yeah. Paintings are so much slower than digital art.
Yeah. I think that's why I never got into painting. I don't have the patience.
Yeah, but at Blick and just in town here, a lot of my friends paint and draw. And
so what kind of... it looks like you do... Well, that's... The neon stuff, that's acrylic?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, it's all acrylic.
I don't know why.
I used to do oil paints, but...
I think I thought that was oil, but it's just lacquered?
Yeah, it's varnished.
Varnished,
It's very varnished.
Yeah.
I want it to look nice and shiny.
And this is, for the podcast listeners, it's a spread of breakfast items with a box of kicks.
Yep. It's called Part of This Complete Breakfast, and it's just way too much breakfast for any one or two or maybe even three people.
Yeah, I feel like your titles really help make the pieces sometimes. Like, especially the hot dog. I like that title.
Thanks.
But, yeah, that's awesome. Especially, I think the kicks, too. Like, that just takes me back to my childhood.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, they still make kicks, so it's not even that nostalgic, really.
Yeah.
But
Do they still have the TV commercials like they used to?
I don't watch TV. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm too big of a hipster for TV now. But, yeah, I mean, this basically has been your life for a while, it seems like. So there's not a lot of other things you've been doing.
Yeah. I mean, family stuff, work stuff.
What have you been doing with your family? I'm just kidding. So, I guess then what are your plans after this? Like getting back into Floating Bunny Head?
Yeah, I want to finish Floating Bunny Head number 2.
Okay.
I have outlines for 10 Floating Bunny Head issues.
Okay. That was my next question.
I have outlines for a completely different comic book series.
Ooh.
And then I have outlines for... so Floating Bunny Head is a fan of Karak.
Okay.
He's like Tarzan, but with a hand for a head.
Okay.
So in Floating Bunny Head 1, there's a segment of a Karak comic book.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Floating Bunny Head number 2, there's a segment of the Karak movie on DVD. And then in Floating Bunny Head 3, there would be a segment of the Karak, like, Super Nintendo game.
Okay.
I think I can pull that off. Pixel art is really time-consuming, too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could have them...
So then I would make a Karak spin-off comic.
Okay.
That one's less important than the other second one I would like to do.
Okay.
It's almost completely unrelated to Floating Bunny Head.
Uh-huh.
But just because I think about this stuff way too much, I guess they're in the same universe.
I know how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that one would be more of a parody or inspired by like Rocksteady and Bebop.
Nice. Okay.
And Skeletor villains.
Okay. So is it focused
He-Man
on
stuff.
Is it focused on the villains?
Yeah,
or?
it's about the henchmen and
okay.
them just having a terrible life.
Okay.
Yeah.
You might enjoy the book, like I think it's called Red Shirts, where it's about like the red shirts on the Enterprise.
Yeah.
But I mean, because I don't think it's a Star Trek book, so there's like they don't ever say Star Trek or Enterprise or like anything like that. But it's very heavily alluded to. They're the red shirts on the original Enterprise because you know how you watch Star Trek, I guess.
A little bit.
Basically, at least in the original series, and a little bit, I think, in the Next Generation, the guys wearing the red shirts always die on missions.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably know that trope at least. But so it's about like those guys just being really like paranoid all the time, I guess.
That's great.
And I've heard it's an okay book, I guess. I never read it because I heard it was an okay book. But yeah, you might be interested in that, I guess.
Yeah, but I'm mostly interested in gross monster men.
Okay.
Who work for like an evil overlord. And, like Skeletor's okay.
Yeah.
Not a huge fan of Shredder, but like really like Bebop and Rocksteady. You know.
Yeah. That's interesting. I don't know if I ever really paid much attention to Shredder. I always liked Krang.
Yeah. No, Krang's the best.
Yeah.
He's such a dumb idea.
It just doesn't make sense. Yeah. Well, he's from a different universe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that helps, I guess. I always had an idea for a comic that was like about a henchman that actually like made his way up through the ranks and becomes the leader, but he just like calls himself the henchman.
That'd be cool.
And he actually like is a good villain because he knows what to do and what not to do from like watching what the other what the bad villains always did to get captured. So he's just like, I'm not gonna do that.
Especially if he was the type of henchman from like Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly like what is in my head is from Batman. Yeah.
Where like the Joker and the Riddler have basically the same henchmen with different hats on.
Yeah. Well, and like if you play Arkham, I've only played Batman Arkham City, I think.
Yeah.
Like they're all the same henchmen,
yeah,
but
switch sides.
It's hard to tell like which villain they're actually working for because they look the same.
Yeah, I have Batman Arkham Knight.
Okay.
Downloaded, ready to play.
Mm-hmm.
I can't touch it until the book's done. So
That's good.
yeah.
Because I know I was writing a book pretty heavily, and then my brother gave me Fallout 3 for Christmas.
Oh.
Like, right when Fallout 4 came out, but I don't have a PS4.
Okay.
I have a PS3, so I got Fallout 3, and so I'm playing through that while everyone's playing through Fallout 4. But, yeah, my comic book went on the back burner because of that for a long time. And then I started doing this podcast, and so we'll see where it goes. But
Yep, I put video games on the back burner. I still play phone games, probably more than I should, but...
What phone games are you playing?
Pokemon Go.
Obviously.
And Marvel Puzzle Quest.
Interesting.
I have been playing for years now.
I didn't know that
years
was
and years.
What is it? It's a puzzle game?
Yeah, Puzzle Quest was like a PSP game back in the day that's like Bejeweled, but you're fantasy characters.
Interesting.
Fighting, orcs and skeletons and things.
Okay.
And then, there's a Marvel one. I think there's an Adventure Time one. They've just...
That makes sense.
License out other things.
That's funny. So anyway, these other comics. So yeah, you have Floating Bunny Head. I'm really curious about the Tarzan. What's he called? Karak.
Yeah, it's K-A-R-A-K.
Does he grab the vines with his head then?
I've never shown him using his hand as a hand.
Okay.
It just kind of emotes and looks and turns into a fist or a hand so far.
Yeah.
I'm sure he could use it.
Is his main would his main attack just be jumping headfirst into people and punching them with his big head?
Yeah, I mean, if he were a Tick character, I would have drawn him
the perfect Tick
doing
character.
That already. Yeah. But so far he's just had a spear. He fights lizard men.
Obviously.
Yeah.
That's wow. Talking about bringing up the Tick, that's the perfect Tick character, because Chairface Chippendale kind of reminds me of that a little bit. That's awesome. Okay, and then what's your other comic? It's about the henchmen.
Yep.
That's how we got.
I mean, I would I've drawn sketches of the characters.
Okay, are they parodies then of Bebop and Rocksteady, or are they similar to those two guys?
So, it's a squad, a team, and different ones of them kind of seem like they could. They could have fit in, one of... Seems like it... Oh, that could have been a Ninja Turtles action figure.
Okay.
Not one of the main guys, but just would look analogous with them, yeah.
That style. Okay. So, so it's a bunch of different henchmen that just kind of, from different villains teaming together? Or do they all work for the same...
Yeah, there'd be, a big evil overlord.
And they all work for him.
And then, a kingdom of good guys that they fight.
Okay.
And they're just... and not even his main team.
Okay, so they're almost they're the Foot Clan guys.
Kinda. I mean, but they're
more individual.
They're each a different kind of gross monster.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. I don't know what else to ask about that. I mean, because you're just starting kind of thing, sketches and stuff.
Yeah, it's...
Man, I want you
it's
to
pretty early. I'd like to get around to it though.
Yeah, I'd like you to get this book out so you can start doing that stuff. Come on.
Well. So I want to get Floating Bunny Head number 2 done.
Yeah.
And then maybe 3 and 4 and 5, and put those in a big hardcover book.
Yeah.
And then who knows if I would ever get around to the second 5.
Right.
The second 5 would answer a lot of questions that I have just been withholding.
You're creating the demand.
Yeah.
And then just letting it sit there.
Yeah, people at cons ask me stuff about what Floating Bunny Head is, or what Armless Bear is, and I don't answer those in the comic.
Okay.
I have those ideas written down. Those aren't the stories I want to tell first.
For some reason, I just accepted that they exist. It didn't even occur to me, how did this Floating Bunny Head come to be? But...
Yeah.
Is it...
He dies and comes back, though, and his friends don't even know why.
Okay. So he's, immortal?
Kind of.
Interesting.
I guess he is, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we worked through that.
Yeah.
And then, okay, yeah. That's really interesting. And now you have to do it because it's going to be on the internet.
Okay. I am beholden.
Yeah. Man, is there anything else, I guess, that you're going to be working on? It's a lot of stuff to be working on.
Yeah.
So I don't want to pressure you to be working on anything
I'm
else.
working on a lot of stuff, just trying to get this art show, put the finishing touches on that, get it up on walls, and then get this book funded.
Yeah. And then play some video games, and then start in Funny Bunny Head.
Yeah.
All right.
Play video games while the books are being printed and shipped to me, and then get back to work. And yeah.
I suppose so. So then I guess with that, where can people find you on the internet to be able to see all this cool art?
My website is skelenaut.com. That's SKELENAUT. That's like skeleton astronaut.
Right.
And then my Instagram and Twitter are at FBH Comic.
Which is for Floating Bunny Head.
For Floating Bunny Head.
That's the easy way. That's how I remember the FBH.
Yep.
Okay. So Twitter and Instagram. Do you have a Facebook account? Or a Facebook fan page?
Yeah, there's a page for Floating Bunny Head on Facebook.
Okay.
And
I'll link to all these in the show notes.
Yep.
So.
And then skelenaut.com has a huge splash page of the Snack Attack Shark right now. And that will link directly to the Kickstarter.
Good. Which I'll have a link to the Kickstarter too, I guess.
Okay.
So that should be out by the time the show's up.
Yep.
We already talked about what you're going to be working on. We talked about what you are working on. We talked about how your art is awesome. What is that guy in a weird moose suit?
Oh, that was so that's a
I've been staring at it this whole time.
That's a transparency for screen printing.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, because you put it on transparency before putting it on the screen, right?
I designed the stuff on the computer, print it out on a big transparency.
Okay.
Then our printer takes it into the darkroom, turns it into a screen.
Yeah.
Throws that on a press, squeezes ink through it onto a shirt.
You just liked that one, so you have it hanging up?
Yeah, so that is from Big Grove Brewery in Solon. We did a limited run of t-shirts where it was the 8 horsemen of the Hop-pocalypse.
Oh, yeah.
We got to design 8 different characters for 8 different double IPA beers they made.
And one of the horsemen is a guy in a moose suit?
Yeah, so they came up with concepts and names.
Okay.
So it was, death, pestilence, war, and famine.
Uh-huh.
And then it was the other 4 they got from the Venture Brothers.
Okay.
So it was self-loathing, dilly-dallying, stinking thinking, and fear. Fear. And so that is dilly-dallying, and he is a man in a moose costume.
Were the rest of them riding horses?
No, none of them had horses. They were all more kind of like Apocalypse X-Men style, but I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, there wasn't a huge coherent style in between, except that I drew and colored them so they all look like my art. But Fear was this huge clown head with spider legs coming around the sides.
Oh, God.
And then its body is a huge snake, and it was also flying in the air.
Oh, man.
And so it was disturbing.
Yeah, that's insanely fearsome.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop thinking about that.
Okay.
Okay, cool. I don't think there's I don't have anything else to bring up. Do you? I said that 5 times now.
I think I said everything I need to say about the Kickstarter.
Good.
Just please help me out.
Yeah.
It might be a lot of money I need to make to get a really fancy hardcover book made.
Yeah. Do you have, I guess, if you don't meet the funding, you don't get the money with Kickstarter.
Yeah. I'll have to come up with a plan B.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Life of crime, probably.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Do you have are you going to be a henchman, or will you be the villain?
Yeah.
Sorry, have you thought about this?
Maybe I'll be a super hacker.
Oh.
And just
you hack yourself back in time.
I've noticed that those Russian hackers don't have very cool names for all their spying programs and stuff. They're named after cartoon bears or something.
Are they? I haven't looked into that.
It's like Honey Bear and something else bear. I don't know, but awesome. They need better names.
You need to watch that Kung Fury movie because there's a hacker that hacks them back in time.
Okay.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I've seen the trailer. I need to watch it.
Yeah, which is funny because the trailer is like a quarter of the movie because it's so short.
Yeah.
But no, it's amazing. Yeah, which I'll have to edit this out too because we were talking about it in a part that I'm probably going to edit out. Well, cool. Well, thanks for letting me come over to see your studio. Why is there a map up?
It's just cool.
Okay.
This half is my wife sewing stuff, and
okay.
We share the room, but
so the map is just kind of like the line in the sand.
Yep.
Don't cross the map. Okay.
Yeah, even though all my painting stuff is on that side of the room.
Yeah. Oh, she make buttons?
Yeah.
I need to get a button maker, I think. Anyway.
Don't get that one.
I won't. Okay, so anyway, thank you again. It's a great place.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. All right, yeah. So thanks again for listening, and like I said, head over to indiecomic.ninja to sign up for our newsletter to keep up on the those two new updates with the new show and the Indiegogo campaign. And don't forget to go back to skelenaut.com or our show notes at indiecomic.ninja/episode 7, and you get over to that Kickstarter and help support this art book for Jonathan Sims. Because once this book gets made, he's gonna get back to those comics, and once he gets back to those comics, you're gonna have to read them because they're pretty amazing. So again, thanks for listening, and I'll see you or hear. No, I'll just talk to you next month.